Usos are no longer together or something. Do we just leave that for nostalgia's sake?
Oh yeah, I love this intro.
Okay. All right.
We the ones.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. And happy Tuesday. How we doing? Everybody good? Everybody having a lovely week so far? Gosh, I certainly hope so. It is so good to be back with y'all one more time. Again, I am Rob Brown, directly across from me on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM, the alpha and the omega of the Fan Upstate, Colonel Grudge, hashtag Dad Kicks, the man with the best hair in the radio game. He is the great one. Lonzo's here too. What's up, fella?
Well, since you said gosh, I'm just going to say golly gee, I'm so happy to be here.
Dadgummit.
So that's totally gosh and dadgummit. That's you can't say dadgummit without putting a little bit of twang on it.
A little bit of Bobby Bowden in there.
There you go.
Dadgummit. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a show lined up for you today. All the things to get into on the radio broadcast. And I got to bat lead off with Nikola Jokic. Now we'll talk basketball. We're going to get to the basketball here in a minute. But before we do, I have to lean into Nikola Jokic. I got a little sound here, so I got a couple of clips to go to. Because I came to the realization, I think Nikola Jokic is the most dominant basketball player on planet Earth right now. Now, that's not to say, I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more. That's not to say that Nikola Jokic is the most athletic basketball player or the most graceful basketball player or the best at any one particular. I mean, he is the best five in the game. Sorry,
see
Joel.
the meme that he created that'll be around forever.
Oh, we're about to talk about that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah. Let's start with this. I figured out, Lonzo, just why it is that I love Nikola Jokic so much. Aside from the fact that he's the most dominant basketball player on planet Earth right now, it is because of stuff like this. Let me go with clip number 1 right out the gate. Right after the game comes to its conclusion last night, and the Denver Nuggets are named your 2023 NBA champions after beating the Miami Heat 4-1 in the NBA Finals. Nikola Jokic is doing his sideline interview, and he gets asked this question and gives this response. The job is done. We can go home now. Everybody else is grabbing a little bit of the bubbly. Everybody else is searching to get their caps and their t-shirts. Everybody else is ready to hit the tarp-covered locker room and start breaking it down like they're 22 and in the club. Nikola's very first thought was, the job's done. We can go home. I'm done. But it wasn't just a funny thing in that moment, because shortly after that, he goes to the podium. And when he gets to the podium, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is at the podium. Now I'm going to play the sound. You're going to hear the volume bounce up and down a little bit because I had to amplify Nikola and what he was saying to Caldwell-Pope, who is an NBA champion now, who is sitting there trying to give his NBA championship post-game presser, and in walks Jokic. Caldwell Pope is at the mic. He is actively giving a feel-good speech about believing in ourselves and believing in each other and doing the job and playing your role and handling everything the right way. Nikola walks in and taps him on the shoulder and goes, I think you're done now. And KCP's like, oh, I guess I'm out. Nikolai goes, yeah. Good job. It's my turn. And kicks KCP up off the stage. And here's the thing.
How's that not a Punk move?
Here's why. Because 99% of basketball players are doing that so that they can get their camera time. They can get their mic time. Jokic is doing it because it's the last thing standing between him and going home. Once he's done with the presser, he gets to leave. Nikola Jokic is every one of us that gets asked by our 20-something friends to go to them with the club when we're in our 30s. Like, all right, what's the next thing I've got to finish before I can leave and go the hell home? And in that moment for Jokic, it was you're obligated to do the post-game presser. And the longer KCP sits up there going, oh, yeah, we believe in ourselves and each other and our coach, and we believe in the fans and the system. And the longer he sits up there giving these platitudes, the longer I'm not up there finishing up my presser, getting it over with, and going the hell home. I want to go to bed, dude. I'm tired. It's late. I loved it. But in case there was any doubt that is what Nikola Jokic was doing, then he got into that presser. Clip 1B. Nikolai gets asked about the victory parade. I think for a lot of athletes, the victory parade is like a culmination, right? There's no work. If you the victory,
it's a possible moment of embarrassment, is what it is.
I mean, maybe, but it is also
two names come to mind. One is Tom Brady and one is Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean,
for the record, I wouldn't be embarrassed if I was either one of them. I'm out there having the time of my damn life. I am out there having the time of my life. And if you don't approve of the way that I'm having a good time, oh, well.
Yeah, those moments might be talked about far after their people talk about their Super Bowls. They'll be talking about what they did after the Super Bowl. So Jokic is smart when it comes to that.
I suspect we're going to be talking a little more about Brady 7 than we are about throwing the Lombardi from boat to boat. It's just me. Now, UNC Chris texted in and said, did you see what he said about the parade? Oh, that's this. When is parade? Thursday. Oh, no. I need to go. My dude went, y'all, it's Monday. That parade's Thursday. I got to go home. I'm tired.
But did he mean go home to Denver or maybe go home?
I'm sure he meant go back to Serbia.
Yeah. So, I mean.
But either way, right? Like you just won an NBA title in Denver. You've got the opportunity to stick around 2.5 days and have the entire city of Denver come out and celebrate a 47-year wait to win an NBA title. And he's like, no, I have to go home. I love it. I love it. My favorite part of that clip, though, is at the very end when everybody has settled in and went, oh, he's not joking. He's not joking. And he just goes, like he's so over it. He's so damn over it. He got his trophy. He put his name into NBA immortality. And now he's like.
So did you see the locker room celebration where he's
oh, yeah.
trying to make the
oh, yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do that either. So I mean,
For now, obviously, there's no audio to this.
That's definitely a visual thing for sure.
Nikola Jokic gets caught in the background in 3 different occasions in the locker room. The very first one shows Nikola in the background. Everybody else is spraying the champagne around the room. Yeah. Popped a little bit of the bubbly and they're spraying it around the room. They showed Nikola in the background. And Nikola Jokic walks towards the group with the bottle with his thumb over. Now, you remember how you used to do with a hose? Like you put your thumb over the cap of the hose and you push down and it makes the water spray out faster?
Absolutely.
It's that, but a champagne bottle. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but I guess you got to shake it to build it up. It's like taking a pop or what you would call soda, shaking it up and handing it to someone. And
exactly what it is.
They open the lid and explode.
But you put your thumb over the top of it. It's all right. So Nikola is in the background. He walks up towards the group. He holds the bottle up. He half-ass shakes it, 3 times? He's like, ugh. And then he's just done it. He just turns around and walks away. It's it. That's all. I saw it, and my immediate thought was, that's a 38-year-old Rob Brown in the club.
But that's also a meme that will last forever.
Forever.
Yes.
Forever. See, Rob at 25. If you got Rob to the club at 25, Rob's on the dance floor. Rob's double fisting drinks. Rob's talking to women like he's going bananas. And at 35, now 38, if you take Rob to the club, Rob's sitting against the wall like, oh God, the music's so loud in here. Why are there so many strobe lights? What are we doing here?
Why are you slowly turning into Larry David?
I really am. Oh, the drinks are so expensive. Right? That was Jokic. Now, the best one to me, because it's the one that I connected with the most, right? Now, I will acknowledge that Rob Brown at 38, you can still get me to a dive bar pretty easy, right? You go, hey, Rob, there's a great
Well, if he's not working, he has 30
if I'm not working,
jobs,
If I'm not working, it's easy to get me to a dive bar. Hey, Rob, there's a dope country band called Rob's Hat playing at the dive bar today. Do you want to hit it up? I'm like, yeah. Now, again, 25-year-old Rob at the dive bar. He's in front of the stage. He's banging back Bud Lights like he's sponsored by him. He's just having a wonderful time. At 38, Rob is very, very happy, though, to stand in the back of the room, drink his beer, enjoy the music from a safe auditory distance, watch the youngins have their time, and just people watch. So they show Jokic at one point while everybody else is still club nugs in the locker room. Jokic he's against the back wall. He's holding, I believe, a Miller Lite, and he's just like this. Just standing there staring at the rest of the room. And he did for 4 or 5 minutes. He's just standing there drinking. Everybody else is jumping around, spraying the bubbly, having the time of their lives. And Jokic is happy to just put his back to the wall, crack a cold brewski, drink. I don't need to dance. I don't need to jump up and down. I don't need to be involved in the shenanigans and the tomfoolery. I just want to chill and go home.
Maybe he didn't want to get any of that on his clothes. I'm guessing it's probably hard to get out, and his clothes are probably pretty expensive.
He was still in his jersey.
Was he? Okay.
He was still in his uniform.
By the way, I did watch the game, but as soon as it was over, it's like, yeah, I'm going to bed.
He's still in his uni against the back wall of the locker room, and I thought, you know what, Nick, I feel you, bro. I get you. Because again, I'll go to the bar.
Yeah, that's what I do every time there's a mandatory thing that I have to go to, and I'm just finding a corner, just sitting back there, watching everybody else as they unwind and do things they're going to regret the next day, and just keeping track of all of it.
Again, you can find me like the party we did a couple weeks ago or last week, whenever it was, I don't remember. I am happy when the things happening, like Nikola at the finals. When the finals are happening, Nikola's all up in the mix, right? Jokic was once again that dude last night. He was that guy last night. But once the thing is over, I'm going to go find a seat in the back. I'm going to have my one solo beer. I'm going to sit down and drink it and just people watch everybody else until it's time to make up the excuse to go home. Oh, yep, I got so much to do back at the house, guys. Really sorry. Would you look at that? The fiance texted me, I'd love to stay, but she told me I need to come home now, which has never happened, by the way. But I will tell people that I figured out why I love Nikola Jokic. Because Nikola and I have the same life. When the thing we're doing is happening, we're right up in the middle of it. But when we're over it, we're over it. Nikolai with his 3 shakes of the champagne bottle, and then he's like, somebody take this. That's enough celebrating for me. Hey, Nikolai, you excited about the parade? When's the parade? Thursday. Ugh. Oh, no. 2.5 days. No, I got to go home, dude. I'm tired. All I'm saying is I get it. All I'm saying is I get it. All I'm saying is to the folks beating up on Nikola Jokic because he was just ready to go to bed last night. All I'm going to say is I get it. All right, that's all. That's all. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, the Denver Nuggets are your 2023 NBA champions. How did they get there? What did they do? What did they do last night? What did they do in this series to make it look almost easy? Well, I told you a few of the things that they needed to do last night. They did all of them. We'll get into that coming back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo and you, this is the Fan Upstate. Got a live for you guys. We'll be right back. Gables, right? Be right back, guys.
Well, it's orange, Rob. How could
is
it look
very
good?
Orange. They painted some of the walls upstairs orange, 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 orange.
By the way, here's what I'm going to do. After they're completely done, all the stuff that's pushed against the white wall, I'm going to push
Move it
it all over against the orange wall. It gives us more of a direct route rather than having to go around, just right to the office. I know how heavy that desk is. I moved it in the first place. So, me and the boss, when the boss shows up, hey, I need your help. I'm like, oh, great. We need something to move. Let's find a sturdy guy.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Jeff Martin Auctioneers is back with the Summer East Coast Public Auction on Thursday, June 15th in Pilser, featuring construction and
Or orange, the color of convicts and caution. I mean, you know, it depends on how you look at it. And sherbet. Not going to go against sherbet, though, because it's pretty tasty.
The Rob Brown Show's on your radio, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fan Upstate. The Denver Nuggets are your 2023 NBA champions, and it is largely unsurprising to me. They did to Miami exactly what I thought they were going to do. First off, you have the advantage of being a better basketball team. I like Miami, but I like Miami because of the personality of the team. I don't love the talent of the team. Miami got where Miami got and made an impressive and frankly improbable run from an 8 seed to an NBA Finals because they are gritty and because they came up against a lot of teams that could be taken out of their game by disruption. A lot of teams that could be taken out of their game by just sprinting up and down the floor, not playing traditional basketball the way that they're used to seeing. Unfortunately, they ran up against a team in Denver that could not be distracted. They could not be taken out of their element. In fact, the only game that Miami won this series was won because Miami had by far and away their best overall offensive game in the entire NBA playoffs, without question. Every other game that Miami played, the same ball that they played in every other series in the NBA championships, in the playoffs, they played the same game, and Denver just was not going to be beat by it, right? Jimmy Butler gets hot. Fine. We'll just make sure nobody else can contribute. It worked. We're going to go with a small ball lineup. Fine. Denver is going to put priority on the shooters, not let Miami get comfortable getting a bunch of threes off and going on a hot streak like they had done in other series. If you're going to beat us, it's going to be Bam Adebayo versus Nikola Jokic. And let's be real, Nikola wins that fight 9 out of 10 times. And that's what happened in this series. Bam had a good game. Jimmy Buckets had a good game. It was the best offensive output from the Heat all postseason, and the Heat got one win. Everything else the Nuggets did was spot on. And yesterday when we talked about this, I said, look, Denver is talked about as an incredibly talented offensive team. They should be. They were, right? But Denver's a team that is more than happy to win a game, I don't know, 89-94. They are more than happy to win that game that way. And they're happy to win that game that way because it's never been about flash. I have repeatedly described the Nuggets as all steak, no sizzle.
Speaking of that, does this hurt the NBA if Denver becomes a dynasty?
It's a great question. I'm really interested to see what the ratings for the finals turn out to be, like the final ratings release, right? Because games 1 and 2 were as viewed as the NBA finals from the last couple of years. Games 1 and 2 were right in line with where the NBA finals have been the last couple of years. However, games 3 and 4, the numbers, first report, dropped off a little bit. And I get it, because if you're the type of dude or chick that watches hoops to see dunks and 41-foot three-pointers and crossovers, if you're watching the NBA looking for the And One mixtape tour, this series was disappointing for you, right? Because that ain't how the Nuggets win. Never has been. And the Heat are like not really that way either. They're a little more that than the Nuggets were. But if you're looking at M1 mixtape tour, then you need to look for the N1 mixtape tour, right? You don't need to be looking at the Nuggets and the Heat. Go look at the Lakers or whoever else. But this series, so I said game 1, game 2. I like this series because this series felt like, to me, like a 1990s NBA Finals, right? It's not a lot of flash. It's not a ton of highlights. Hell, the majority of Nikola Jokic's buckets last night were splitting the defense and just like blue-collar layups, man, right? Even late in the game. It got a little hectic at the end. Did you watch the end of the fourth?
I watched the entire game.
Yeah. It got a little hectic at the end of the fourth. Miami went on a run. Jimmy Buckets knocked down back-to-back threes. The Heat actually had the lead with, like 2:12 left to play.
There were also a couple moments where the referees decided to take a break.
Swallow
and
the
they were just beating each other up
Let the boys
back and
play.
forth. And they did, and then they got it under control. Yeah, I mean, I said going into this game that if they're getting blown out in the first quarter, I'm going to go watch something else. But I watched the entire game because it was exciting. It was, but in the end, just kind of in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, Denver's still going to win this because the game is so close. Denver's going to come back and win this.
It never really felt, even when Miami took a lead with 217, 212, whatever left to play, I still never really felt like, okay, Miami's like genuinely got a chance here. It felt like Denver was still in control of that game. They had just missed a couple of buckets. Hang on a second, they'll get them back. And they did, right? When it came clutch time, Miami, a team that did not panic in this postseason, not that they panicked, but I feel like Miami got to a spot where they couldn't get the shots that had fallen in earlier series to fall. And they didn't know how to adjust to it. Which is kind of the antithesis of what Eric Spoelstra's team has been like, right? I still think Spo is going to, frankly, should go down as one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA. This Heat, with 90% of all-time NBA coaches, is not in the NBA Finals. Spo coached them past Boston. This is why when Miami beat Boston and I started seeing the beat writers going, oh, is it time for Boston to blow it? No, it's not. All due respect to Mazzola, who, I get it, right? You want to be impressed. Young guy. He's 30, I think 34 years old or something like that. And he's head coach in the Beantown Celtics. That's phenomenal. He got masterclassed by Eric Spoelstra.
Don't you wonder though, what's the deal with Tyler Hero? I mean, you know that you're desperate and you need to win this game. Why do you not put in one of your best players?
I don't think he was ready. I think Tyler Hero was floated because the Heat were desperate. The Heat went into that game down 3-1 in Denver. It was desperate.
But what does that do? Is that motivation for your team? I mean, why put it out there? Why even dress the guy if you're not going to put him in?
Again.
Unless you're sending a message to him.
Here's why. You got late in that game. Miami shot, what was it, 24% from three, right?
Which was better than Denver.
Oh, God, Denver was atrocious.
Yeah.
Would Denver go? Denver was like 1 for 7 to open the game.
It got worse than that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the end stats are, but they started making a couple like at the end of the game. But
let's see. Denver ended that game from range 5 of 28 for 18%. Not great.
I know everyone on the radio and off the radio, your buddies, I could hit 5 out of 28. And I got to tell you, I think I could hit 5 out of 28. I know Rob could. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I can hit 5 out of 28.
And some of those looks were wide open and they just missed them.
Here's what now. Yesterday on the show, I specifically said, if the Miami Heat are going to win this game tonight, they're going to have to be white hot from aces, right? They're going to have to be white hot from range. That's it. The Nuggets were 5 of 28. The Heat were 9 of 35, right? 9 of 35, good for just under 26% from range. That's not good enough. And it's certainly not good enough when from the floor you go 33 of 96 for 34%. It's not good enough.
And again, it wasn't like all those shots were contested. I mean, a lot of those
missing.
They were just missing the shots.
Yeah. Now, a lot of them were contested. I told you yesterday on the show.
Denver did play good defense.
Hell yeah,
for sure they did.
I told you yesterday on the show that the Denver Nuggets defense is better than we're giving it credit for, and we're giving it a lot of credit.
You know, another sign of that is how many times did you see some guy dribbling the ball and go underneath the basket, and you're right there, and instead of trying to take a layup or trying to do something, they would take it back out. And is that because of fear that they knew they couldn't get up there because of how good the defense was playing? I think so.
Yeah, it absolutely was. It absolutely was. I'll tell you what killed the Heat last night. I'll tell you what killed the Heat in this series. What killed the Heat in this series was Aaron Gordon. Nikola Jokic was a big part of it. But Jokic can only defend one side of the rim at a time. Aaron Gordon helps with that. Now, Aaron Gordon had a garbage night offensively last night. 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 2 from deep, 2 of 4 from the stripe. He had 4 points on the night. But that's not what Aaron Gordon was asked to do last night. You go back to game 3, Aaron Gordon was a big part of the offense. But it has never been about Aaron Gordon being an offensive ace. It has always been about Aaron Gordon being whatever Nikola Jokic needs him to be in that minute. I need a backside rim protector so that when Jimmy Buckets drives to the paint, I can square up with him. I can go, this is it. This is your spot. You're not passing here. And I can trust. I don't have to worry about trying to close a passing lane the other direction because Gordon's over there. Gordon's got me. I don't need to worry about that angle. That side's covered, right? So, to me, Aaron Gordon was the most important player that nobody talked about last night. Nobody talked about in this series. He was whatever. If Nikola Jokic was getting triple teamed underneath, lay it off to Aaron Gordon. Let Aaron Gordon get the easy bucket. If somebody was driving the rack, Jokic could move full stop in front of that person and take away a frontal assault of the basket because he knew Aaron Gordon was going to close down passing lanes around him. meaning there was nowhere for him to go. That is what Denver was in this series. Incredibly well disciplined, a phenomenal defensive team that was perfectly fine. People tune into the NBA to see what? To see games that are like 128, 124 with 9,000 baskets scored. And in this, you got a elimination game final score of 94-89.
You tune in for the show, and this was just methodical.
Yeah. It's the same as I had this I had this discussion once many moons ago. I went with a friend to a Braves game. And the Braves, this was, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. The Braves, I don't even remember who was on the bump, but the Braves tossed a combined one hitter, right? One hit. It was masterful pitching. And I was hooked. These boys were just working the zone. Combined one hitter. And as we were walking to the car, my buddy hits me with, that was the most boring baseball game I've ever. I'm like, no, dude. No. It just tells me you don't have an appreciation for baseball. You just want to see a home run derby, right? You don't have an appreciation for the game of baseball. You just have an appreciation for mashers. If you watch that series and that game last night and you did not appreciate it for being a great game, then you don't like basketball. You like the And One mixtape tour, which is fine. Everybody can have their own taste. But if you watch that and you weren't entertained by what Denver was doing off the ball and defensively, you don't love basketball. You love offense.
Yeah, but if you are the NBA as a whole, you want a mix of all that. If you get boring, you're going to lose those people who are there just for that. And the question is, how many people are true NBA fans are there to watch the basketball, or they're there to watch the show? And if there's no show, you're going to start losing those people.
Maybe. We'll see what the ratings look like. Joey B just checked in on the stream, which you can watch at facebook.com/thefanupstate by going to YouTube, searching and subscribing to The Fan Upstate, or by going to Twitch and searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show. He said there's a lot of parallels between the Heat and the Panthers, in that the Florida Panthers, not the Carolina Panthers, the Florida Panthers in that regard, both overachieved in the playoffs because of their aggressive play style until they got to an actually great team that handled them easily. I would agree, Joey B. I would say Florida did beat a great team in the Boston Bruins, but I think Florida caught Boston by surprise in that series, right? This was a coronation for Boston. The Bruins were the best NBA teams we've ever seen. It was nothing more than them picking up the crown. And the Panthers jumped out, punched them in the mouth and the ribs and the sternum and the throat over and over and over. And by the time the Bruins figured out what the hell was going on, it was too late. It was Game 7. Then they won some good series. They smoked Carolina. Carolina's a good team. Now, Carolina was beat up, and Florida loves to beat on you when you're beat up. But, as I pointed out yesterday on the show, the Vegas Golden Knights, and we'll talk some hockey later on, Game 5 in the NHL Stanley Cup is tonight. How about the city of Miami, Lonzo, losing 2 professional championships in 2 nights? Ugh.
It's still Miami, though. I think they'll be all right.
South Beach bringing the heat. That's Will Smith getting jiggy with it from a track called Miami. You're welcome. Anyway, the Vegas Golden Knights are labeled, are looked at as a new team, a young team, right? Because the team is young, but they're not. They're a team of vets that have all predominantly been here or in similar situations before and know how to respond to a team like Florida. Well, the Denver Nuggets knew how to respond to a team like Miami. Just do what you've done every other game. And it worked. 4 losses in the entire postseason, one of them delivered by the Heat. Nikola Jokic, as far as I'm concerned, has gone ahead and etched his name into NBA history as I will say right now, the best postseason big man of all time. And y'all know I try my best not to do knee-jerk reactions, not to allow recency bias to get me. I don't think I'm doing that here. I think Nikola Jokic is the best postseason big of all time. Will he continue to work towards adding best big of all time, period, to the resume? We'll find out. But as of right now, best postseason big of all time. Let's take a break. Come back here in just a minute. We'll wrap up our thoughts on the NBA. We'll get set with the NHL. Omaha, starting off on Friday. It is officially locked in. Tennessee beat Southern Miss. They're in. And Texas, oh my goodness, loses in the most gut-wrenching fashion you have ever seen or heard. We'll talk college baseball later in the show as well. The Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate.
Wow, video just popped up of people trying to hold a tent down, and the wind took the tent up and the people.
And the people.
Oh yes. I suppose it could be fake. I don't know.
I've seen people get racked by umbrellas on the beach.
Well, it's not an umbrella. It's a big
Or
tent.
tents.
It's a big tent. Had to happen. We were playing a concert at the beach, and a storm came up, and the wind hit the tent. And I'm the dummy. While I'm singing, I grabbed the tent and grabbed it. It was big enough tent to have an entire band under it. So I'm holding it up while I'm still singing, and apparently one of the poles somehow was causing my bass player to get shocked every time he played the bass and every time he tried to sing. And you see all these people rushing to put the thing back up. I just didn't think about it. I mean, I just grabbed it. It did pull me up a little bit, but I was a little bit heavier then. I sent you that video, by the way, on Twitter just now. Watch the person in the back to the right a little.
Yup, later.
That person went to the hospital.
Yeah.
They had to.
I believe that is what we call
What do you think?
Being yeeted.
20, 30 feet? I mean, they're up there. You can't even tell if they may have got tangled in the tent itself because they don't come back down.
You want to watch with us? Watch the dude in the back when the tent decides, my people need me. Yeet. Oh, yeah, that dude is hurting today. Or not hurting at all.
Well, yeah, there could be that. That's just, oh.
Let go.
Yeah.
Let go.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, dude in the white shirt. I didn't even see him.
Yeah, he comes down.
I was looking at the dude in the back. Dude in the white shirt goes like 15 feet up and then straight down.
Yeah.
Watch the white shirt. Oh, God.
But at least he saw where he was coming down. The other dude in the back.
No, it was just.
Yeah, he was.
You are being taken for a ride. Oh, no. That's rough, dude.
I mean, of course, I guess they look like they work there or something.
I would have, yeah.
I'm like, no, boss. Does that look
Grab
like
the tent? Nah,
looks like an outdoor restaurant type thing. Without the sound on, I don't know, but I'm just picturing a person filming going, bro, no. I don't know how they say bro in Japan.
Bro.
They made to say bro. Who knows?
Those folks just learned how sales work. Yup.
I gotta get off that video because I just can't stop watching.
I watch somebody different every time.
Yeah, I can't stop watching the dude in the yellow. Just wondering, did he survive? There we go. Sammy and Kevin about to talk about changing his shirt because he couldn't wrestle in the Okerlund shirt. I mean, it's a sweet shirt.
I got on shorts and a t-shirt. I got to go put on different shorts and a different t-shirt.
It also makes you wonder if it's inside and that they recorded that earlier.
Yeah.
And that he's making a joke because he knows it's not live. In case people go, why is he wearing a different shirt and a different...
The Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, Rob, the Great One, Lonzo, and you. Be a part of the show, 844-326-3663. You can text us at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air for you. You can also tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, and tweet everybody at The Fan Upstate. Texter says, Hurricane Jeff text in and says, I don't look up on it. I don't look up on it. Has two South Florida teams losing to two championships on consecutive nights. Whether I look up on it has two South Florida teams over. Oh, the way okay, got it. He said, the way I look at it, not as two South Florida teams losing championships on consecutive nights. The way I look at it has two South Florida teams overcoming the odds of being deep, taking down top dogs in the league, only to give a valiant effort, but fall short of a championship. And I get that, right? Like, this is where I lean on the Giannis Antetokounmpo quote from a couple of weeks ago. Remember when Giannis got bounced, the Bucks got bounced, and they said, Giannis, do you feel like this game or this season is a failure? And he said, no. He said, only one team can win a championship. He said, all those years that Jordan played and didn't win a championship, were those failures? All those years Kobe played and didn't win a championship, were those failures? Like, you are only a failure if you don't try. And I think that's a fine lesson to take away. It is only a failure if you don't give it everything that you've got. If you give it everything you got, what's the old expression? Life sucks sometimes. You can do everything right and still lose, right? And oh, by the way, here's a lesson that a lot of us had to learn as kids, and it was tough to do. Sometimes people are just better than you, and you know it. Sometimes people are just, it does not matter how much you practice. It doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in, how much time you put in, how much dedication you put in. Sometimes people are just always better than you. And the real frustrating part is sometimes people are just better than you and they don't even have to try that hard to do it, right? That's the wildly frustrating part. I have been playing music for 15 years. The lead singer in my band can hear a song one time and then just start playing it on a piano. Just perfect, note for note. I've never been able to do that. I will never be able to do it. It doesn't matter. I've been playing 15 years. I can't do that. I'll never be able to. Sometimes the other team's just better than you are. I've told that story before. Coach Tom Grant, my middle school coach, we got beat by Bruner Middle School. He brought us all into the locker room. He sat us down on the weight benches. He walked up. He pulled up a weight bench and sat down. Tom Grant never sat down. He sat down on the weight bench. He took off his giant Bobby Bowden straw hat. He set it on the ground. He looked up. We were all ready for the ass chewing of a lifetime. And he goes, Boys, you learned a hard lesson about sports tonight. Sometimes the other team's just better than you are. And that was it, right? We didn't do anything wrong. They just beat us. That's Denver and Miami last night. That's Golden State and Florida tonight. Sometimes the other team is just better than you are. Denver was just better than Miami. There were some other teams that were more talented than Miami, but not better than Miami. Denver was just better than Miami. Everything Miami wanted to do, Denver had a counter for it. You cannot have a game like the Nuggets had last night. You cannot have a game where you shoot 15% from three. Sorry, 18% from three. Where you shoot 45% from the floor. Where you shoot, by the way, Lonzo didn't even talk about this, 56% from the free throw line. From the free throw line, they were 56%. Shaq was not a 56% shooter. He was better than that. 56% from the free throw line. Miami shot 26% from but they held him to 35% from the floor. They went 87.5%, 14 of 16 from the stripe. You cannot have a game like Denver had and win that game, win that series without being a ridiculously talented defensive basketball team. And the Nuggets were. They just were. Let's see. UNC Chris says we need to petition to change Jokic's name to ET because he just wants to go home. Yo, I can't get over. They keep showing the clips on the TV network we got on this AM. And every time they show the clip, I'm like, yeah, I feel you. I feel you, Nikolai. I feel you, my guy. Just, all right.
There are times in every job when you just want to go home.
I just want to go home.
Yes.
Yeah, no, listen. Beer's good. Champagne's delightful. But you know where else I have beer and champagne? My house. And I can drink it in bed. I feel you, bro. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get away from the NBA, get into some golf, get in some hockey, some baseball, and more on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. GetRefunds.com. GetRefunds.com.
Growing a business brings pressure. Staying compliant and retaining top talent in challenging times. You feel stretched thin. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put over 35 years of HR service and technology to work, offering my employees competitive benefit options while lightening my HR load. Engaged people empowered to be their best means overcoming obstacles. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Paladin fans, the 2023 college football season is just around the corner, and your Furman Paladins, coming off an 11-win season and a quarterfinal trip to the NCAA playoffs, are looking to take home a conference championship. Season tickets are available for less than $145 and provide access to the best pregame environment in the upstate. Secure your tickets now by calling 864-294-3517 or visit.
It's an awesome story that they survived, Stephen, but they're from there. So that's one of the things that they knew. That's how they knew how to survive, is because that's where they're from.
Foundation experts. Call 864-581-3341.
It also means that someone, probably the older kids, paid attention when they were taught when they were younger what to do.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. June is the month to make your pet green by keeping them plastic free. When buying toys for your pet, look for toys made with natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. Even better, make toys out of old t-shirts, socks, or towels.
Also, Stephen, as someone who went like 5 days without food, although I was fed intravenously, I do know what it's like to not have food. I think I could forage. Maybe my Cub Scout training would, come into play.
Georgia that we would really like to have here, and we are working our butts off to recruit that kid. He's got NIL offers from other schools in the neighborhood of $800,000 a year.
Maybe, or Stephen, maybe they go to YouTube and find a how-to video that tells them how to make a fire. I mean, that's possible. I would say a good portion of the audience and probably both people in this room have went to YouTube to figure out how to do stuff.
I did it like 2 days ago.
Yeah. Although just because it says do it like this doesn't mean you are capable of doing it.
Woo.
I got him 2 Saturdays ago. I know it's juvenile. I don't care. He was walking over to Chicken Salad Chick. It's like I'm making my car go off. Till finally he turned around and pointed at the window and he knew it was me.
Can I tell you how much I can start the car from my phone now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Game changer.
It is.
Game changer.
Especially in the winter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's going to be 85 today. It's going to be nice to click it 5 minutes before I go down there, and the car's cold when I get in it. First world life.
QC in the first break.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show starts now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob. The great one, Lonzo, is on the other side of the metaphorical glass, running the ones and twos for us today. If you would like to be a part of the radio broadcast, now's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time to do it. And all you have to do is give us a call at 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. You can also shoot us a text at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read it on the air. You can also tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. And, of course, everybody at the station at the Fan Upstate. And join us on the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, by going to Facebook.com/The Fan Upstate, YouTube, searching and subscribing to The Fan Upstate, or hit us up on Twitch by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show on Twitch. All of those different possibilities right there for you. If you join us on the live stream, you get to interact with Lonzo and I, as well as the rest of the Rob Brown Armada. During our breaks, we have conversations off the air that we don't have on it. We do fight breakdowns on the air, which, by the way, did you see the end of the John Gotti v. Floyd Mayweather BS fight?
See, I thought that was old. So that was recent.
Like last week.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So the two of them were just having a dirty fight, man. It was just an ugly boxing match. And the referee eventually got tired of it, stopped the fight. John Gotti decided, yeah, no, I'm not done with this fight at all. Ran around the ref, squared back up with Floyd to get after him after the bell. And Floyd's crew rushed the ring. Gotti's crew rushed the ring, turned into a battle royal inside of the ring. And then fans outside of the ring all started going after each other as well.
Don't you long for the old days when every member of the crew was a bunch of old fat white dudes? It would take them like 10 minutes to jump into the ring, and it'd just be like a squaring off and maybe a slap. I did see that. It looked very, very professional wrestling.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
First off, there's almost a part of me that wishes I'm there, because I'm totally trying to throw guys over the top rope, right? Like immediately my brain clicks. Like, I bet I can eliminate somebody here. I'm looking for the first joker that's looking the other way to grab neck in tights and.
Or, I mean, if you're a quick thinker, use their own momentum as they're coming towards you, which we've seen done many, many times.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's get to some more stuff. I got an email yesterday. I don't have it pulled up, but I'll paraphrase. I do know it was from somebody named Ray. And Ray wrote the show and basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty close. 3 years here, and you still don't know your audience. No one cares about the NBA. Move on. And then he actually provided a list of 5 other radio markets that he thinks I should move to, which was, I appreciated the extra effort there.
Looking out.
Yeah,
I
some
mean,
extra effort.
he's saying you don't fit here, but I can help you find a place where you do fit.
Yeah, I don't know if it was you would fit here so much as I just rather you be anywhere else. But I appreciated the effort that he actually went and pulled stations that are hiring.
That's pretty specific. Are you sure those stations are hiring? Did you look it up?
No, I didn't follow.
Okay, all right.
It turns out, and this may upset Ray, and I'm sorry, Ray, if you're listening. You are. I actually really like it here. I like it here, and I would say Lonzo, myself, Mark, and Diesel are doing a pretty damn bang-up job of growing the station. So I think we're good. But I did appreciate you taking the time out of your day to try to find me some new guys.
Yeah, Mark's getting ready to celebrate 1,000 shows.
Yeah.
You can't be that much far behind him.
Nah. He's got about a year on me. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm probably sitting about 700.
Yeah.
Ballparking it. I don't have the energy to count, to be honest with you.
Math is, I mean, we've said many times
holidays,
about math, and we don't want to do that.
vacation
Yeah.
days.
But that's he's very meticulous in how he sets up his show, and he's the first person I've met who used Google Docs, which we all use now. So I'm sure he has them all numbered.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, that guy is awesome. We need more feedback like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're willing to put some research into it, that means you're looking out.
Yeah.
Way to go,
I
Ray.
appreciated that. Listen, if you're going to hit me with the "you suck, leave town" email, Put some effort into it, man.
It was
Like Ray put effort into it.
sounded like a very nice way of saying
Yeah.
that.
You suck, leave town, but I don't want you to be unemployed. So, like, here's some other places that are hiring that you could go. Again, you suck, leave town, but like, here's some options for you to leave town to a new job. I appreciated the extra effort there. It's very kind of Ray. That being said, I have always kind of been curious because on one hand, as Lonzo has pointed out, I'm not a sports guy, but I'm a sports guy, right? And
I was going to say, you keep throwing at me. I got something that I could throw back at you, but I'm not going to do it. I did it right before vacation because we can go that back and forth thing. But
I'm
we
just
don't
saying,
need to do that.
you pointed out the difference between.
Do you want to be that guy? Because if you're a sports guy, that means you need to put away your guitar. That means you need to put away your video games. That means you got to put away a bunch of other stuff that you're into. And it's sports only.
It's just sports.
It's sports only. I have pointed out that you are a well-rounded individual.
I am.
Sturdy.
Yeah.
And that you're into a lot of things and good at a lot of things. But if you just want to be that guy and you want to put that on me like I was being critical of you when I was not, I mean,
I don't think you were being critical.
You go ahead and be that guy.
I'm just a one sports guy. Just sports guy. Not sports guy. But to me, the NBA is the epitome of basketball, right? And you can't tell me that there's not a basketball audience. I'm not saying it's enormous, but I would think, here's my thought.
Well, what did he want you to do? To just talk Clemson and Carolina football like all the time? Because who does that? And why would you want to just talk about Clemson and Carolina football every single day when it's not football season?
I don't.
Plenty of other places you could probably go for that.
I will say this, Ray, if you're listening, I will allow you to shoot me an email. You be my programming director. Just tell me what I should talk about. I'm not going to do it, but I'm curious as to what your thoughts are.
Hey, you never know. Ray was that thoughtful. He might actually come up with some ideas that you may go, hey, you know what? I like that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So I don't browbeat you with NBA during the regular season, right? At least I don't think I do. I don't browbeat you with NBA during the regular season. I
think we barely touched it because we were talking football.
During the crossover, we don't touch it at all. During March, we don't touch it because we're dialed in on college basketball. And by the way, I don't browbeat you with college basketball outside of the local teams, right? Until March rolls around.
Except for Clemson, because we don't really talk about them, according to that one texter.
Yeah. I don't browbeat you with basketball until we get playoff basketball, whether it's the March Madness tournament. And again, that is the second most gambled upon event in American sports. And it's like not beat by much, right? The Super Bowl last year had 16 billion, gambled on it. March Madness had 15.5 billion gambled on it. So the audience, to me, I'm curious. And again, I also know it's regional, right? Like, obviously, if I'm in Denver, Colorado, I'm hammering the Nuggets postseason run. If I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm hammering the fact that we are 9 days away from the NBA draft. And oh, by the way, rumors starting to swirl that the Charlotte Hornets might be shopping the number 2 pick.
Wait, no Scoot?
Well, they're leaning Brandon Miller out of Alabama, who I got no problem. He's an elite shooting guard. No issue with that. You've already got LaMelo in there. If you bring in a second point guard in Henderson and Scoot, like, I wouldn't want to be a head coach that gets saddled with 2 elite point guards and then no big man down there to help him.
It's Michael Jordan hasn't exactly made the best decisions.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, with that being said, by the way, the team they're talking to right now are my New Orleans Pelicans, who are capital heavy right now. They got a lot to move. Question mark for the Hornets. Are you sending Scoot?
They're going to trade their draft pick for Zion?
That's one of the topics that's being discussed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, New Orleans. Have you seen the drama with Zion the last week and a half?
I have not, because I was on, unplugged and away.
Oh, Lonzo. Let me fill you in, and as the Zion turns.
Yeah, but if you do that, you'll be talking more NBA, and according to Ray.
Sorry, Ray.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna come back to where I was going with Ray in a minute, but I gotta get this. All right. So Zion had been in a relationship with, how do I say this diplomatically, an online adult entertainer.
So we're not talking Manti Te'o kind of.
No.
So this was an actual person.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
An online adult entertainer named Mariah Mills. Mariah Mills, let's just say she's a film actress, shall we? She's a film actress. A very particular genre of film, but a film correct. James just said, piece of advice, do not Google this at work. No, do not Google this at work. So, Zion's been in a relationship with a young woman named Mariah Mills, who is an online adult entertainer. And Mariah put Z on blast last week for getting another chick pregnant, right? And then Mariah started doing some tweeting through it, man. And she accused Z not just of getting another chick knocked up, but of having adult recreational time with multiple other women. And she went so far as to say, hey, look, I know the life of an NBA wag. I understand that there's always going to be other women, but Z was always going to come home to me. And then she started, and again, do not Google these tweets unless you're at home, talking about some of the intimate activities that she and Zion participated in. And it started with one day putting him on blast, and I'm going to tell all your secrets and yada, yada, yada. And then the next day it was, yo, I flipped out. I know he's loyal. Like, yeah, he's going to have some other ladies, and I'm okay with that, but he comes home to me. And then, like, the next day she's like, I let you do this to me while we were having intimate adult times, and then you turned around and you were doing the same thing. Like, it's been ugly, like real bad. Joey B just said, Zion has taken the crown as the most Spartanburg man to ever exist.
So this is a person who does a certain job for a living and then is angry about someone doing the same thing with.
Well, she apparently switched from being full outright pornography to being what they are calling a solo content creator. This is where she performs the intimate activities by herself, to herself, on herself, so that there's not another man involved. She at one point said that she deleted some photos from a photo shoot she had done where a photographer was pouring honey on her in a particular way. And she said Z got mad, considered it disrespectful. She's like, I deleted that whole photo shoot for you. And then you went and knocked up some other chick, right? If Zion was like 5 years in the league, had a league MVP award, was averaging 27 a game and playing more than 60 games a year, probably a lot of this goes by the wayside. We go, all right, some people are dumb, and this is kind of part of that world, have at it. But my guy, the fact that you can't keep your weight down, you can't stay in shape, you can't stay uninjured, and every time there's a chance for you to do right by the Pellies, you find a way to not do that, and now you're dragging this team into all of that as well? Not a great look.
How is this unacceptable in New Orleans, where you, I am told, can flash beads and get other flashing, and there's voodoo and all this kind? How is this unacceptable there? Isn't this kind of the norm?
Okay, so Rob Brown believes that what consenting adults do amongst themselves is their business and not a damn other person's. Okay? I'm even going to shock you. I think that's a truly conservative viewpoint. What you do behind your closed
Yeah,
doors.
you have more of those than you think, but anyway.
No, I don't. No, I mean, yes, I don't. I have a lot of them. I don't think that I don't. Okay. Liberab the Woke Warrior is a part-time job. So what other people do in their romantic lives and who they do it with is not your damn business. It never have been. It never will be.
I agree with you to a point. He's not married. I mean, but
How many times have I said, what was Tiger Woods' number one mistake?
he was married.
He got married.
Yeah.
And even then, there are people who get married and are fine with their spouses having adult playtime with other people.
So weird.
To you,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But again, you know what else it's not? Your business.
Well, there's also a thing that if you get in a relationship with an adult actress, I mean, maybe you think possibly if things go awry that, and plus people find out you're dating that adult actress, that it's going to be public.
Sure.
And, I'm just saying.
Sure. Comes with the territory, man. Comes with the territory.
So he was physically well enough to
But-
do some things that she's holding
Here's-
over his head,
here's
but
the
not
thing.
well enough to be on the court.
What you
Just,
what you do and what you accept and what you're okay with in a relationship is different from person to person, right? I have dated women before that believed going to a strip club was cheating. I have dated women before that would go with me to a strip club. They were like, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, of course. It's just a club. Let's go have some fun. Everybody's got their limitation. And if they, whatever Zion and Mariah's arrangement was, what they can and can't, that's up to them and nobody else. All right. Ain't your business. Ain't my business. It ain't David Griffin's business. It ain't Michael Jordan's business. Nobody's business but Z and Mariah's. However, when your baby mama drama starts to show up at your job, that's a problem, right?
Did she show up at the job though?
Well, she didn't, but these tweets damn sure did,
Okay. All right.
right? Again, if Rob Brown wants to go home and put back too many bourbon and Sprites and enjoy his night, that's nobody's business but mine and my fiance's. But if Rob Brown goes out in public, puts away too many bourbons and Sprites, and gets into a fist fight with the drummer of a band, now it impacts my job. Now it is the boss's business.
That was oddly specific.
Beef, play drums. Of course he did. Of course he did. So anyway, the point is, this whole thing's ugly. And to circle back around to the start of this conversation, there is some significant smoke coming out of New Orleans that the Pelicans might be done with Zion. They might be done with the guy and ready to shop him. And if they're going to shop him, they're not getting the number one pick because San Antonio is going Victor Wembanyama. But the number two pick's on the table. Charlotte's pick's on the table. Charlotte could end up with Zion. New Orleans gets their pick of either Miller or Scoot. They get the elite point guard that they just have not had because, look, love CJ McCollum, but he ain't that dude right now, right? So they get their star point guard in Scoot. They pair him up with Brandon Ingram. And, by the way, they got plenty of capital to go find another star. That's interesting if you're Charlotte. So my question would be here, if you're a Hornets fan, do you want Zion? Do you want to bring Zion home? Do you think if you get Z out of the Big Easy and you bring him to Charlotte, maybe he's a little closer to some folks that can talk some sense into him? Can you fix him? I don't know. I'm going to lean no, right? There's one thing that the chaos that is my dating life until now has been. It is that tigers don't change stripes, dude. You can dye it. But
Why did I hear Hulk Hogan saying that? I don't know why.
let me tell you something, brother. Once somebody shows you who they are, brother, believe them. Brother. This has been another episode of Hulk Hogan Gives Life Advice, brother.
I'll have to find some music for that.
So,
I am a real American.
don't say racist stuff, brother. Trust me. All right. So, would you take the shot at fixing Z when Brandon Miller's right there at number 2? Instead of taking Scoot at number 2, who to me is the clear and away number 2 out of G League Ignite? I do. And to circle all this back around to Ray's part of the conversation, I am a sports guy, just the one sports, but a sports guy nonetheless. Basketball, and this may shock Ray, is a sport. It is a sport. And the world's best basketball league was playing its championship series the last week and a half. Now, I'll tell you what's not going to happen, though. In about 3 weeks, when NFL camps open up, we're probably not going to talk a lot about the Denver Nuggets at that point, are we?
Let's hope not, because if we are, then something happened that would,
Yeah. We're probably not talking Denver in mid-July. But when the NBA Finals is on, is it not worth a segment or two a day? And I got real bad news for you, Ray. Coming up here in a few minutes, we're going to talk hockey. Oh. You know why we're going to talk hockey? Because it's a sport. And the world's premier hockey league is playing its championship right now. And Game 5's tonight. It's an elimination game. So coming up later in the show, I'm going to break that down. And now something that's really going to please Ray. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, we're going to talk golf. Because the Live Tour PGA Tour merger is still cranking out new news, including the news yesterday that because of the involvement of the Saudi royal family, the U.S. Senate is launching an investigation into the merger. What are they investigating? What are they looking to find? Tell you that and more when we come back on The Rob Brown Show. I'm Rob. He's Zoe. Ray's mad. It's The Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, live read right here. We'll be right back.
Presto. You're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to babbel.com to try for
I tried to look up what Avidamol means, and I don't know how to spell it, so I can't.
Know about the warehouse at Midtown's hamburgers, cheesesteaks, and pizza and wings, but now we've added meat in 3. Midtown's Southern Kitchen is serving up all your favorites, like fried chicken, hamburger steak, breaded pork chops, along with all the fixins, green beans, fried okra, and more. And it's the only place serving it with beer and cocktails. Our 26 taps and full bar is open 7 days a week. Get your Southern fix along with a cold drink with indoor and outdoor seating. Midtown is located at the heart of Greenville.
I think it means with demon.
With demon? You think that Babbel said with demon to
Yeah,
end their
I believe
commercial?
I believe it means with demon.
Or online at JeffMartinAuctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show. It's BetMGM Tonight, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on the Fan. BetMGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with hosts Quentin Mayo, Trista Crick, and Ryan Horvath. Real-time, relevant sports wagertainment tonight at 7. BetMGM Tonight, exclusively on the Fan and on the Odyssey app. Into the game on
So the PGA Tour Live Tour merger, as I said last week, I think may end up being the biggest story in the history of professional golf. It's massive, okay? Now, we're getting a lot more details out of it. We are finding out that leaders of the Live Tour are currently stating that the Live Tour will continue in its current format for the time being. We have been told from the PGA Tour that they are working on a plan that would give golfers who remained loyal to the PGA Tour equity in the tour. So as the tour grows, they would make more profit than the players who jumped over. I don't know how much that matters, right? I don't know if whatever plan the PGA Tour comes up with, Rory McIlroy will make an additional $400 million of income, but we'll see. Again, probably not, but we'll see. So all of that is interesting, and I am very excited to see what the future holds. I'm intrigued to see what the future holds as far as the development of the Live Tour, development of the PGA Tour. I'm very interested to see what influence the Saudi family has on the PGA Tour. Jay Busby of Yahoo Sports was on with us last Thursday when we were live out at the BMW Pro-Am, and we got to talking about this. And he said, I want you to think about it this way. He said, the Saudis effectively own golf now. Not a team, not a league. They're not sponsoring 2 or 3 of the biggest players ever. They effectively own golf. There are other leagues out there. Japan has a pro circuit. Australia has a pro circuit. Europe has its standalone pro circuit. But all of those have been considered to be, because they are, feeder leagues, right? You go win some tournaments in Japan, you're on the PGA Tour. You win some tournaments in Australia, you're on the PGA Tour or the Live Tour. They're feeder leagues. He goes, imagine if you woke up tomorrow and you found out that Roger Goodell sold the NFL to the Saudi Arabian crown prince, right? Like, that's what this is. They own this tour now. Well, because of that, a United States Senate committee is now officially reviewing the alliance between the DP World Tour, Live Golf, and the PGA Tour. Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat from Connecticut, is the chairman of the Senate's Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. He notified the PGA Tour and Live Tour, specifically Jay Monahan and Greg Norman, yesterday of the inquiry by letter. That letter came out just days before the U.S. Open, set to take place at the Los Angeles Country Club. It opens on Thursday. On Thursday morning, Savannah Lee will be joining us on the show to break down that course, because I got to tell you, it's one I'm not super familiar with. She's done her homework. We'll have Savannah on Thursday to talk about the U.S. Open and the guys we like in it this weekend. We'll come back to that later on. The investigation is separate from the one that the Department of Justice is conducting into the tour, which was launched after several Live Golf players filed an antitrust case against the PGA Tour, but the new partnership killed that lawsuit off. That investigation is still ongoing. The letter says, quote, while few details about the agreement are known, PIF's role as an arm of the Saudi government and the PGA Tour's sudden and drastic reversal of position concerning Live Golf raise serious questions regarding the reasons for and the terms behind the announced agreement, end quote. I thought about this a lot after our conversation with Jay Busby last week. We'll probably have Jay back on in a couple of weeks with some hindsight to look back at and readdress this. But I think it came down to me, to the fact that the PGA Tour does not have unlimited money and the Saudis do, effectively. I equated it to, so cheat codes in a video game. We've all played video games that we like, and you play through it. Hell, you might beat it and decide you like it enough. You're going to come back and you're going to play it a different way, right? We do that with Skyrim. That's our big game, because you can play it a million different ways, and the game is different based on how you play it. But I think I can say comfortably, Lonzo and I are both guilty of at some point effectively turning on the unlimited resources cheat code.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't want to have to grind for all the supplies that I need. I'd rather just push a button, push another button. Oh, now I have the greatest weapon in the game and unlimited gold and all that. That's the Live Tour, right? That's the Live Tour. That's what this is. And I pointed this out. I'm not going to go way back down this rabbit hole. Do I think that the Saudis have dirty money? Yes. Do I think that they are good people? No, I don't at all. I think we all know exactly what the PIF is. The Public Investment Fund is an arm of the Saudi Arabian government that effectively takes and repurposes their oil money, of which there's a lot, like cheat code a lot, yeah. They use that to invest it in places that they are not expecting a return on the investment financially. What they're trying to do is create these products that sports fans love, and love them so much that we eventually get to the point that we go, whatever, dude, right? Like, it's just whatever. It's just whatever. We had on early last week, who was it that we had on that was talking about it? Anyway, we had on somebody who works for the tour. And they said something along the lines of, this is the first step in changing the operations of the Saudi government, right? Because this is about building culture. And if they want the tour to succeed, then as much as we have to change our mind about them, they have to change their mind about us, right? Like we can help shape their minds and help shape their. No, you can't, dude. I would like Liberov the Woke Warrior in his part-time role would absolutely love to believe that golf is what will be the bridge between us and a country that throws people off of rooftops because of who they are. You understand? I wish golf would be the bridge that just fixed the world problems. I don't think it's going to be, right? So I don't really have an issue, and this is not a sentence I say very often. I don't really have an issue with the Fed stepping in and going, let's take a look at this, right? We're not saying we're gonna do something. We're not saying we are going to make anything happen here, but I think it's fair to go, okay, Jay Monahan for a year and a half of the existence of the Live Tour said, we're anti-Live Tour. We're not going to work with them. We're not going to work around them. We're not going to support them. If you play on the Live Tour, you will never come back to the PGA Tour. You are done with us, right? And then out of the blue on like a Thursday afternoon in June of 2023, Monahan comes out and goes, there are BFFs, dude. We love these guys. We work with it. That's our buddy. That's our friends from work. We have an agreement. We have an arrangement. Now, I've told you what I think. What I think is he just recognized that you can't fight the Saudis forever. They have the unlimited resources cheat code turned on. You don't. You cannot fight them forever. And at some point, the PGA Tour was not going to be able to ask their sponsors for more money. They were not going to be able to increase purse size. The Live Tour was. They were not going to be able to increase distribution. The Live Tour was. They were not going to be able to pay better employees to come in and be the administration of the PGA Tour, but the Live Tour would. And they went, all right, so we got it. We got two options here. Option one is we kind of pinch our nose, avoid the stank the best that we can, and come to an agreement where we can survive, where we can live, where we can play on, and hopefully keep us in a controlling position in golf. Or option B is we can keep butting heads, we can keep fighting, and we can just hope that the Saudis give up. We can just hope that eventually Saudi Arabia goes, it's not worth the investment. But here's the thing. They already got Phil. They already got Bryson DeChambeau. They've already got 25% of the biggest names on the tour. And by the way, there were other guys, Brooks Koepka, thinking about moving over. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Right? I've said on the show multiple times, I am staunchly anti the Saudi Arabian government. Not the people, but the government. Lonzo, if the Live Tour called tomorrow and said, Rob Brown, we'd like to give you $100 million a year to come be the lead play-by-play guy of the Live Tour, my guy, I'm gone. I'm out. I'm gone. See ya. I'll cut Zoe a check for $1 million. I'm paying for everything my family needs for the next 10 generations. I'm out, dude. That's the spot the PGA Tour found themselves in. The offer was too good. The offer that came in created an opportunity for the PGA Tour to continue to thrive, to push forward, right? So they had to take it. Do I think that the Saudis did something funny? Do I think Jay Monahan is getting some inappropriate money under the table? No. I think the Saudis got enough money that they could do it all above board. They could do it all above board and not have to do anything illegal because the money was just too good for Jay Monahan to say no to. The Saudis don't have to do anything illegal to get me to be the lead play-by-play guy of the Live Tour. They just got to scratch a check. that says $100 million. And my guy, I'm out. Later. See ya. So I got no problem with the Senate deciding to investigate this.
How do they have time when they're busy working on UFOs and other things? I don't know how they have time to fix this.
Well, the UFO, we're going to have to do a Rob Brown show after dark again, aren't we? It's been a while on this UFO thing, these investigations.
It's very interesting, and the government's involved. So I mean, if there's only so much government, Rob, how they have room to go from there and then deal with this
and take all those vacation days.
And there's
sorry, campaign time,
and also look into college football. I mean, there's a lot of things that they're supposedly going to look into.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And keeping Microsoft from buying Blizzard. I mean, there's just so many things.
I don't have a problem with them doing this. I don't have an issue with them reaching into it. I don't have a problem with them looking into it. And again, part of the reason why is the direct involvement of the government of I hesitate to use the word hostile nation, but I don't know what else I would call them, right? So because there is direct involvement of a hostile nation with one of the larger sports leagues in America, which means they have direct access to this country through the portal of sports, I got no problem with the Senate leading into it, right? No problem with the Senate leading into it. Do I think they're going to find anything? No. I think they're going to find out that the Live Tour had too much money for the PGA Tour to see a way to fight it for more than another couple of years. I think they're going to find that the PGA Tour did not have the resources to headbutt the Saudi government. And so the option was, okay, we sell and we maintain some control, or the Live Tour, even if it takes a decade, beats us into a submission, takes over, and ends up being the primary professional golf tour. And now we have no control over the direction of golf. Sometimes a crappy deal is the best deal. And I think that's what they're going to find. Texture said, great. Basketball, golf, and next hockey. Way to go, Ray! This is all Ray's fault, y'all. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2. We'll lead off hour 3 with a look at Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. We'll kind of take a look at everything else as we wrap up the show. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go anywhere.
hardwood
Okay,
blend
where'd that
pellets.
go?
Made right here in the USA with North American ingredients and a 100% natural hardwood blend, Kingsford pellets can be used on any pellet grill and add delicious smoky flavor to any meal.
Fires.
Kingsford's the name you trust for the low and slow cooking you crave. So look for Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets. Kingsford.com.
There's a right way and a wrong way to fight off mosquitoes. Karate chop in the air, in a public place, in front of your kids and their friends, is the wrong way. Using STEM mosquito repellent is the right way. STEM effectively repels mosquitoes by harnessing active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and peppermint, making it safe for
Lemongrass
directed
and
around
peppermint.
people and pets.
Oh,
STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science, and embarrassment-free.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Yeah, I caught my first fish, Dad. Great job, buddy. He's a beauty. Thanks for taking me fishing.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the boat's always ready for those magical father-son moments. Who knows, maybe someday he'll actually like fishing. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. With Ranger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you.
Saw Diesel tweet something about the Stooges, and I thought he was talking about the Three Stooges, but he's actually talking about a band named the Stooges, which I don't think I've ever listened to before
Yeah.
that I'm aware of. He's talking about the intro to the Stooges, and I'm like, down, 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 down. Anyway.
Wrapping up our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Let me just say this real quick. If you are the type of parent who gets into the face of Little League umpires, you're the problem. Okay? Taunton, first off, I think it's pronounced Taunton. Taunton. That's Taunton, Massachusetts.
I think it is Taunton.
You know what
Yeah.
the temperature is in Taunton, Massachusetts right now?
57.
Lukewarm.
You'll have to explain it to me later.
It's a Taunton. Lukewarm.
Oh, gosh.
Lukewarm, like Luke
I'm
Skywalker.
embarrassed, but you can't have my nerd card.
Anyway,
Did you really think I'd get that right away? I mean, probably, but sorry.
that's a good joke. I'm proud of
I
that.
was excellent. It really
That's a
was.
real good joke.
It really was.
That joke deserved more attention than it's getting right now. All right. The text line should be blowing up with Rob, you comedic genius, you. And it's not. And I'm a little let down by that. Anyway, Taunton, Massachusetts is home of the Amateur Baseball Association and, of course, therefore, the Amateur Baseball Umpires Association. Apparently, at a game this past weekend, there was a kid in the box. Home plate umpire called time. Second base umpire also called time. The pitcher did not see it. He threw the ball. The batter went ahead and swung. The batter roped a shot out to left center that would have been a double and scored the go-ahead run in this game. A game being played, oh, by the way, by 8-year-olds. Okay? So the ump calls time, second base ump calls time. Shot out, ends up being a double. Run scores, they pull it off the board, bring the batter back because it was time. The two umpires in the game said that after the game was over, they were approached by multiple parents in the parking lot, including one of which said, I am going to kick your ass. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say parent? That was an 8-year-old kid. encouraged by his dad to yell that at the umpire. So all the umpires quit, and now there's no baseball in Taunton, Massachusetts. If you're a baseball parent, if you're a sports parent, and you are getting after the people who volunteer their time so your kids can play a game because they made a wrong call in an 8-year-old baseball game, you're the problem.
That is such a Ray move.
Ray. Texter says, Rob, you comedic genius, you. Thank you, Texter. Somebody gets it. Back after this for the final hour of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
And this update sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance. Facing elimination, the Heat held the Nuggets to 94 points, including 5 for 28 from 3. But Eric Spoelstra's season is still over.
I don't know how long it'll take me to go through, the autopsy of this final game, but I would say that will probably rank as our hardest, competitive, most active defensive game of the season, and it still fell short.
The Nuggets are NBA champs for the first time 47 years after the ABA merger, taking Game 5 in Denver, 94-89. Nikola Jokic, 28 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists to clinch the Bill Russell
Warehouse in the first break.
10-4.
Points, rebounds.
Oh, baby! Warehouse in the first break. Is he really? Is he from Taunton, Massachusetts? Taunton? Taunton?
Looking for a $160 million transfer fee. I'm into the
We're CBS Sports Radio, and our Twitter handle is @CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio. Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash and
Are you shaking everything? Or
Nope.
okay. Is that an earthquake or just the painter? That was weird. My screens were shaking. Your joke is shaking the very foundations of the earth.
It was that good. You're not wrong.
Somebody's on the roof. We sure it's not the painter doing that? That was weird. I think someone's on the roof.
Joey B saying it's pronounced Taunton. No, there's a T in there. I saw
T's
it.
can be silent.
I saw the T.
Growing a business brings pressure. It's not easy to maintain momentum and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. Their scalable HR solutions help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving my employees competitive benefit options.
Apparently, a lot of you guys know about
We're able to thrive.
Taunton.
Business can adapt and prosper. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Want to quickly become Dad's favorite? Give him what he really wants for Father's Day. The Upstate Golf Cart. 18 holes at 9 of the best courses in the Upstate.
That was kind of mean, Marcus. I mean,
Carolina Springs, The Rock, Rear Golf, Rolling Green, just to name a few.
All right, what is this UFO crash Vegas cell phone?
They could actually be. There's an enhanced video where it actually shows the alien. I don't know if he's like behind a forklift.
Is Joaquin Phoenix in that video? Just out of curiosity.
You mean Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Not Dwight Yoakam. Did you just mix Dwight
Yoakam?
Yoakam and Joaquin Phoenix?
First off,
That's
listen.
two scary looking dudes fused together.
I want you to know why the UFO threats aren't taken seriously. Okay, I'm actually gonna share this real quick. I'm not gonna watch the video.
Well, you got a minute.
We're just gonna look at the screen. All right. Now, let me move that so there's no reason that you can't see it. You may have to turn your brightness up, ladies and gentlemen, but Can any of you notice something about the people filing the report of this UFO that they saw? Does anything stand out?
No, because everything's blurred.
Correct. I'm all the way over here, so Lonzo gets the big screen. Do you see what this is?
It's a T-shirt.
Right. Do you happen to see what's on the T-shirt?
No.
It's kind of dark.
No,
That is a Dale Earnhardt T-shirt.
dude. By the way, you're looking
Intimidator
at the wrong thing because those don't look like the people from Vegas.
I don't know.
I don't think you're looking at the right thing.
That's a Dale Earnhardt Intimidator T-shirt. Okay, which means that part of the reason the UFO stuff isn't taken seriously is because it's always rednecks. It's always rednecks.
Dude, you haven't watched the video. These are Latino people, and because they're speaking Spanish, and it's in Vegas. It's not.
All right, somebody needs to send me a link to
Yeah,
that.
that is not. That is not the thing.
Somebody send me a link to the video y'all are talking about.
There's several different videos. It shows the thing come down. There's body cam footage from the cop. There's footage from the actual Latino family that, yeah.
And there's no chance it was just space debris, which is a thing. Y'all get me so damn heated with this UFO stuff, dude. Like so heated.
No. The problem is that you're getting angry and emotional over something that because your scientific mind can't comprehend the fact that it's possible that it's true. I'm not saying it's real or not. If you actually watch it and listen to the supposed cop with the body cam footage, it doesn't sound like a cop to me. But, maybe it's because, I don't know. So
here's what I know. We've got all these investigations and reports. And again,
see, he's using that tone, the same tone that the government uses when they say nothing to see here. And also, so you don't know about the whistleblower that has talked about, and this was last week. I was glad when I got back from vacation because I found out all kinds of things. The whistleblower that's talked about how not only does America, but China and other countries have vehicles from other beings that they're trying to reverse engineer to learn how it works. And that multiple, not just one or two, but I guess two would be multiple, but multiple.
What kind of video? What kind of vehicles?
Something that's not from here. I cannot give you a direct quote.
What kind of tech are they running on?
All right. So here's the thing. So you should watch it and read it and do, there's full reports on this, and you're still going to go in at closed mind, like saying you're visiting Buc-ee's.
Not
and
automatically
you're just
believing something does not make you closed-minded.
It does.
No, that's the opposite.
It does. No. If you don't, I'm not going to believe it. That doesn't make you closed-minded.
No, you didn't finish the sentence. The sentence is, I'm not going to believe it until you prove it. That's the full sentence. I don't believe it.
But if you don't believe it can be proven, then you are closed-minded.
No. I don't have a reason to believe something that can't be proven true.
By the way, we're having an argument over something that I don't necessarily believe that this whole thing is real. I do believe that it's a possibility that there's life out there. I absolutely do.
I never said there wasn't.
But if the government were to have these things, of course they're not going to tell you, and they're not going to, and they would reverse engineer. You've seen enough science fiction movies to know that you're going to try that. Something comes along and it has
what movies?
Science fiction.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. But without science fiction, you wouldn't have that phone that you're holding or a lot of other things that you enjoy because they showed up in science fiction first. And someone said, you know what? Let's see if we can do that. And they did. We don't know that these vehicles are not people from the future coming back in time. We don't know if they're not interdimensional beings coming into our plane of existence. There are so many different things. I may not believe in anything I just said, but I believe that there's a possibility that it could be, whereas you have the opposite belief that you don't believe there's a possibility it can be.
No, that's not the case. I absolutely believe that there is a possibility of this stuff happening. What I am getting sick and tired of the people who claim to know that it's true.
And did I claim that I knew that it was true?
You did, but you're not the one I'm talking to right now. I'm literally talking to you, but
so you believe in the government, right? So the fact that the government said it's real, then you've got to believe it, don't you?
Government didn't say it's real. It said they're looking into it.
No. Read the whistleblower.
No. Who is the whistleblower?
All All
It's
right.
a guy. It's a guy.
A guy who used to work for the government, and the government is they've declassified a bunch of
Right.
articles and things
So,
like. There's a ton of things about
If
this right now.
If this guy knows,
This could also just be a wag the dog thing, but we don't want to get into politics. But it's been everywhere to divert attention away from other things, or it could be real. I mean, there's a lot of things.
if this guy knows of this tech, then tell us what it is, right? But you will notice one thing.
All right, why don't you like after the show
I'll
or
read
later
it.
on read it or watch the interview with the guy. He will give you his credentials, all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry I can't remember because I can't remember, but all that stuff's out there and it's been out there for a couple weeks.
I am willing to bet.
You know why? Because you've been a sports guy for the last couple weeks. That's why you didn't know this existed. Now you're back to sports guy.
I've
Now you
heard,
can.
I've let me start with this. I have.
You
heard
didn't
of
believe it, so you don't want to look at it.
I have heard of it. And then I have heard, just like with everybody else, it's a bunch of vague, bold claims with nothing that backs it up. Right?
I mean, my dude does not come with pictures, but he is fairly specific about things. And as far as the Vegas thing goes, they're pretty specific about what landed and that it was an 8-foot being with big eyes and large teeth. That's how they describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the look on your face is hilarious.
Correct.
And by the way, I'm not saying I believe it or not.
I can just say anything. And like, for whatever reason, if you attach interdimensional to it, everybody loses their damn minds. Yesterday on the drive to work, I saw a 9-foot tall purple dude with 7 arms. It was like Goro, but he had one arm more on one side than the other. It's weird. I saw him though.
See, you're being guy that I don't that the part that I don't like. You're being guy that's automatically doing all this without actually looking at the research that's out there. So like tomorrow you come back in and you say all this stuff. It's different because you've got all the information in front of you such that it is, and you've looked at all of it. Right now, you're just going from secondhand knowledge, thirdhand knowledge, all that kind of stuff without you actually looking at the material that's out there.
For the record, I am right now looking at and I will go read the whole thing, but I'm looking at the highlights of the interview. He's got in this, let's see. I don't want to name the specifics. Of course you don't. Nobody with these types of claims ever does.
Because if he does, he'll die.
Then what are you doing? What is the difference between this is real and I have proof? I'm not going to tell you what the proof is.
All right,
here's
the difference.
They might kill me, but I'll tell you it's real. No, if they
all right, Mars Attacks, give me a second.
If they didn't want this out there, they would have whacked this. They would have already.
And you are
Sopranos.
Yeah, we come in peace while you're pointing a gun at me right now.
Dexter said, "This is your fault, Ray."
The thing is, if you knew about aliens and you knew they were real, you wouldn't just come right out automatically and say, hey, here it is. We've been visited by people from another planet. No, you ease it in slowly. You get it to where, and you put in a lot of false reports too, to where people just blow it off. All like, that's not real. And then suddenly here they are. You've so slowly desensitized the public to the idea, or more so, you've taken generations and gotten them used to the idea that it's a possibility. Then when you bring it out that it's a truth, it won't hit as hard as, oh my God, they're real, let's riot. There still will be some people who riot because those people are always waiting. They've got the Molotov cocktails, back in the row in the back room. They're just ready to go, ready to set fire to stuff. But other people will go, yeah, that's not real, like you, and then let's move on. Meanwhile, there's an alien 3 doors down.
3 Doors Down, great band. Were they aliens? Is that why they were called that?
Have you seen some people walking around this building? I know that could be said about me, but anyway.
So, look, the correct stance to take.
All right. Correct by whose standards?
It's common logic. The correct stance to take. If someone makes any claim, no matter how small. Now, we don't always do this because most claims are insignificant. If I tell Lonzo I have a quarter in my pocket, it doesn't really matter if I do or if I don't.
Well, because I believe you only use plastic. So the
Correct.
fact that you would have a coin would be really shocking.
And that is what we call a theory that you could then investigate
It's
and
all,
work
but
on.
it's also situational observation. I don't recall ever seeing you
Sure.
pay with cash.
You have created a theory based on good, solid evidence. Lonzo and I have been hanging out for 2+ years now, and never once has he seen me pay for anything with cash, because I don't. It's great observation and a great foundation for a theory. But if I say I got a quarter in my pocket, that's not an unbelievable claim, but it's not consequential. It is different, however, if I was to say to Lonzo, I have $1 billion in my bank account, right? You might automatically not believe me because, well, we work in radio. That's not a thing, right? But that doesn't mean I don't have a rich uncle somewhere who just died and I made $1 billion in inheritance. You would need to not believe that claim.
What's above a platinum card?
I can't tell you. I'd have to kill you.
See, that's
the point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that every time one of these conspiracy theorists comes through and they jump on TV, it is always vague. It is always non-specific. It is always super generalized with no names, locations, dates, statistics, hard evidence. It's always vagary. It's always vagary. I in fact, to the point that you can more successfully convince me, Lonzo, that this is a wag the dog situation, that we're about to get, like, there's something else happening right now that our attention is not wanted. Let's see, what's something that, hey, let's do the aliens again. Let's do the aliens again. Hell, maybe there's a new Men in Black coming out next year, and this is just guerrilla marketing of the highest order. I don't know. But the point is, if all you say is, I got alien tech in my garage. Cool. Where'd it come from? Can't tell you that. What's it made of? Can't tell you that. Who's looking at it? Can't tell you that. Who was it reported to? Can't tell you that. When did you get it? Can't tell you that. Well, then no, right? And for the record, and here, I'll even draw back to sports because I'm good at my job. A week and a half ago, Shane Beamer said, tampering is definitely happening in the SEC, and it's definitely happening in college football. We had multiple players from our roster who were getting phone calls and emails about playing somewhere else with NIL as the bait. And do you remember what my response was to Shane Beamer? The same as it is here. Name them. Give me the schools. Give me the coaches. Give me the boosters. Give me the money. Give me the phone calls. Give me the phone logs. Give me the emails. Give me anything at all to make it true, or else by default, I can't believe you. That's not to say it's not happening. That's not to say with any level of certainty, I believe it's not. I don't believe that it's not happening. I just also don't believe that it is. I don't have a position on it. Because if Shane's not going to tell me what schools are doing it, what boosters are doing it, what they're offering, how they're offering, when they're offering, then I don't have a reason to believe you. You're just making a claim, right? I have no reason to believe you. And that's kind of the spot I am in here as well. It's always vagary. It's always, well, I can't give you details, but here's my totally real and true thing that you should take on surface value. Just because it's attached to an authority figure doesn't make it more justified to believe. That is an appeal to authority. It's a logical fallacy that will lead you down some bad paths. Well, he worked at the Pentagon. Okay. I know some pretty terrible people in the military. I've met them. I've been around young military folks my whole life. There's some bad ones.
There's also some really good ones. Probably
Most
the
of them.
majority of them
Yes.
are good. Yes.
Yes, most of them. But I've met some really crap ones, all right? And just because you're crap doesn't mean you can't get promoted a bunch of times. So I'm not saying this dude is or isn't. I don't know. I'm just saying just because you had a badge doesn't mean I have to believe what you say. Just because you're the head coach at a D1 program doesn't mean everything you say is gospel. As this texter said, my source is, trust me, bro. Yeah, That is, once again, what this is.
By the way,
what's your source?
By the
Trust
way,
me, bro.
Some of those sources who say "trust me, bro" are actually telling the truth.
Sure. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not even saying this guy's not. I'm just saying I'm not going to believe that he is until it's proven to me. Do I believe tampering is happening in college football? I don't believe it is. I don't believe it isn't. I believe it's absolutely a very reasonable possibility.
It's not tampering because
probability.
there's no regulation when it comes to that stuff.
Sure
So no, there's not.
Sure there is.
No, there's not. They may say there is. There's no regulation. So you can absolutely say, hey, our trust fund or whatever they call it,
Our trust fund.
they'll take care of you if you come over here. You're going to make more money if you come to our school. That's probably happening at the majority of schools. And yes, I just used a vagary.
You did.
But it is a belief that I will stand by. And a lot of people stand by that beliefs. Just like all those $500 handshakes, everyone knew they were happening, but did anyone prove it?
Yes.
What, Miami?
The bag man.
Yeah, well, I mean, with one school, how many other schools were doing it?
All of them.
I saw it at the D3 level. I know someone who saw it around here. It just, there is no real regulation, and I believe Shane is right. But if he comes out and points fingers, well, then there's a problem because then other people start pointing fingers and everyone's pointing fingers.
Give me proof or I reject your claim. That's just how it works.
Rob,
That's how you should
Rob
live your
Brown,
life.
he's from Missouri.
Missouri.
Show me.
Might as well be. All right, let's take a break. I did not want UFOs, aliens, and Shane Beamer to take up a whole segment, but here we are. By the way, I do not believe Shane Beamer is an alien, just so we're clear.
All right, come on now. It's a friend of the show. You're not going to do
I love
that.
Shane.
You're not going to do that. Shane is awesome.
I suspect Shane would be laughing at this segment. Let's take a break. Come back here in a minute. Get some Stanley Cup talk in here. What else we got to get to? We got some other stuff. We'll book it through some stories when we come back. Rob Alonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show. Trust me, bro, is back after this on the Fan Upstate.
Warehouse.
All right, guys, got a live read. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one thing that you can trust the claims of Rob Brown about, because I bring hard evidence, or should I say soft evidence to the table, it is food. I will never steer you wrong with food. And that is why I'm telling you right now, you need to get to the warehouse in Midtown. Why? You might ask. It is because alongside all of the already incredible food selection they have, like Philly cheesesteaks and pizzas and burgers and all that, they're now doing meat and threes. It's an old Southern classic, my man, and they got it all. They got breaded steaks. They've got fried chicken, turkey, and gravy, and you get it with all the fixings. Get your okra, your mac and cheese, your green beans. It's just that old school soul food, my man, and they're doing it right now at the warehouse at Vaughn's and the Southern Kitchen at Warehouse at Midtown. If you head to the warehouse at Midtown, you're getting so much more, though, because 7 days a week, they have got 26 taps open and a full bar to take care of you. And on top of that, they have indoor and outdoor seating. So if it's a beautiful day like today, you can go outside, enjoy the warm Carolina sunshine. If it's maybe not, or maybe there's just a really good sporting event on TV, like, I don't know, Game 5 of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Then you can sit inside and watch any of the tens of thousands. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like the lot of TVs they have on the wall, so you don't miss a minute of whatever sporting event you want to keep up to date with. It's meat and three.
And we're back, and yes, sorry about that.
But
You know,
now you know about the warehouse in Midtown.
I was still thinking about someone's angry reaction to aliens, which always seems to happen, which makes a lot of people think that he might indeed be at least an alien apologist. It also makes you wonder if an alien were to land on that building right over there, what would be the reaction to everyone around here? How many people would scream? And would Rob go up on top of the building and go, "You're not real. I don't have proof," even though he's looking at the alien? That's just a really large balloon. Or, of course, we would turn the mics going and we would have a real War of the Worlds type thing going on here. We're ducking down, so hopefully the aliens can't see us through the window. We're trying our best to stay on the air as long as we possibly can before they take out the tower behind us, although they probably would shoot the tower right away, unless they wanted to use the tower, for signals, like in, Independence Day, which is coming up pretty soon. Never know. Where's Jeff Goldblum?
I think it's an alien. NHL Stanley Cup game number 5 tonight. It is elimination time as the Florida Panthers find themselves in a 3-1 hole against the Las Vegas Knights. So, will we see another trophy handed out this evening? And the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is yes. Just like I said, Denver would finish it off last night, calling the shot at home ice. Vegas does the same thing this evening and wins this series 4-1. But why is that? Well, there's a couple of things. The first is teams that take a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup final have won 48 of the 53 series where the 2 games went to one team. Teams that won the first 2 games at home in the final won the cup in 38 of 41 series. But that's not even the worst news for Florida. Teams up 3-1 in a best-of-7 Stanley Cup finals have won 36 of 37 series. The only team in NHL history to rally from that deficit was the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs, who came back from a 3-0 hole and knocked off the Red Wings for the Cup. This is the 4th straight Stanley Cup final and the 5th in the past 6 years where a team went up 3-1. All of them have been won by that team. You do not climb out of this hole. That is bad news for the Cats. The second part of it is Florida plays bully ball. We've talked about this a number of times. Florida wants to throw you off. They want to be disruptors. They want to control the pace of the game, and they want the pace of the game to be frantic and aggravating. The problem here is how many guys wearing gold and white are capable of scoring, right? That kind of ball works if you're playing a team that has like 1 or 2 elite scores. That's how teams like the Oilers get beat. Because you got 2 elite scorers on that team. And if you take them out of the mix, there's not really a lot of guys that can put the puck in the strings to pick up the slack. Vegas is not that. Vegas has multiple guys inside the top 10 in scoring in this postseason so far. Then you add on the fact that Vegas is scoring well in 5-on-5 hockey, right? Florida coming into this series was doing a wonderful job of keeping 5-on-5 hockey level. They were not letting you pull away when you were playing 5-on-5 hockey. If you had both teams with a full complement of players, Florida was playing level with you. That has not been the case. In fact, in the last game, 2 of the Vegas goals came on 5-on-5 situations. Now, you go back to game 3, a game they lost. Vegas was scoreless when they were playing 5-on-5 hockey. All of their goals came via the power play. The problem here for Florida is that especially in the finals, you end up reaching a point where you're not drawing fouls like you used to, right? In the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, the officials know your game. They have watched your game. They have studied your game. They are keeping an eye on the guys they know are taken down to the ice easily. They are keeping an eye on what's happening away from the puck so nobody's getting away with anything, so that it's not the second guy always gets caught philosophy. And that is shown. You have had fewer power plays in the finals for Florida than they were used to in the first 3 series, and they're not scoring on them when they happen. But here's the biggest problem that Florida has tonight. The biggest problem Florida has tonight is that Matthew Tkachuk is banged up. Now, Matthew Tkachuk has been a monster in this postseason so far. Matthew Tkachuk has been excellent in this postseason so far. He has been the glass slipper on the foot of Cinderella and her run to the Stanley Cup final. But Keegan Colasar put a banger on Matthew Tkachuk in game 3, and Tkachuk has not been the same guy. Matthew Tkachuk got pulled by the concussion spotter in game 3. He did return to that game later, but even though he scored the equalizer in game 3 very, very late, remember, Florida poured the goalie and scored in a 6-on-5 situation to go and win that game. In game 4, Matthew Tkachuk did not look like the stone-cold killer that he looked like he was in the first 3 games. And when he was, the velo on his shots were down. Matthew Tkachuk was hitting shots because he's got a wrister and a slap shot that have smoke coming off the back of him. And he did not have that late in game 3. Remember that game equalizer he scored in game 3 was a putback. It was not a clean shot. It was a putback. In game 4, Tkachuk had slower velo on the shots that he did take, and he passed on a few that looked like classic Matthew Tkachuk shots from the first 3 games of that series, but really the entire postseason so far. But the biggest thing that got me, and this is why I said Florida was in trouble at the end of game 4. This is why I think they will lose in game 5. Matthew Tkachuk had been about as physical of a hockey player as you could ask for. And he had to be, right? That's Florida's play style. The only way that style of play works is if everybody on the ice is throwing shots. The only way that play style works is if everybody wearing that uni is playing that overwhelming, physical, aggressive, bully style hockey. And Matthew Tkachuk was not. He was skating away from contact. He was not leveling guys. Remember that shot in, game 3 or 2 that he put on night that we thought ended his night. Now, he came back because hockey players are insane. But that shot he laid down, he was skating to avoid those in the last game. And that tells me he's trying to play through something. And look, I respect the hell out of him trying to play through something, but unfortunately, whatever that something is, took Matthew Tkachuk out of being the ace in the hole from the Panthers and have made him a liability for Florida. Because again, if you don't have all 5 guys laying lumber on the floor, then that style of play does not work. So that's a big problem. If Tkachuk truly is not that guy because he's fighting through something, Florida's in a world of hurt. But everybody's focused on Matthew Tkachuk, and they should be. The guy you should be talking about is William Karlsson. William Karlsson is a Conn Smythe Trophy contestant right now. He is playing exceptionally well. He scored the goal that gave the Golden Knights that 3-0 lead in the last one. Karlsson has 11 postseason goals. That is tied for third with Matthew Tkachuk. Karlsson is playing the same caliber hockey as Matthew Tkachuk. So why isn't it being talked about like Matthew Tkachuk is being talked about? Very simple. It's not getting talked about because Vegas has got a handful of guys that are playing that caliber of hockey. Vegas has got a few guys across their starting five that are playing their best hockey in the postseason. So Karlsson's ridiculous postseason is getting lost in the mix because there's so many other guys to pay attention to. We mentioned Jack Eichel having a hell of a postseason. Jonathan Marchessault having a hell of a postseason. Mark Stone, a longtime vet, the goon of that Vegas front line. Aiden Hill in goal has been ridiculous. How many flurries have we seen the Panthers thrown at Aiden Hill, including desperation in game 4 to try to level that thing up at a deuce apiece? And Aiden Hill's just been unflappable, man. Like, Karlsson has been good, but Eichel, Marchessault, Stone, Hill, they've all been good. And so a guy that's in the discussion for the Conn Smythe Trophy is basically just one of 4 guys, as opposed to Matthew Tkachuk, who has been the guy for Florida. He has been the heartbreaker, and he's raised his game to be that guy. But once Matthew Tkachuk gets eliminated, Florida doesn't really have anybody else to lean on. They don't really have anybody else that they can fall back on, and that is a big problem. The other big problem is not Bobrovsky. It's not Sergei Bobrovsky. The other problem is that Bobrovsky, who has been so electric in this postseason, is under assault right now. The Cats' back line, especially their second and third back line, have been hanging Sergei Bobrovsky out to dry. Game 4, Vegas had an incredible transition game. Like, that was the game plan in that one. Let them attack, and when they screw the pooch, let them attack, and when they make that mistake, we are going to send everybody else back at them, and we're going to overwhelm Sergei Bobrovsky. And he's good. But your defense cannot be made up of one guy with a glove. He's got to have help. There have got to be guys that are clogging up the middle so Vegas skaters can't get a clean run at Sergei Bobrovsky. And they failed at that. You've got to give Sergei more help. And they just haven't been doing that. So I think when you combine all those things, and then you combine the fact that Vegas is doing the opposite. How about this number? In the last game, Vegas Knights defenders not named Aiden Hill stopped 30 shots. 30 times the Panthers tried to put the puck on frame, and 30 times a Vegas Golden Knight defender knocked it down before Aiden Hill had to raise a glove. That is ridiculous, man. In the first 3 games of this series, Vegas combined 67 block shots. In game 3, they had 31. Now, there's bad news in that if you are blocking 31 shots, it means that Florida lifted 31 plus whatever was on frame. That's a high shot volume. That's fine. A high shot volume doesn't matter if they're not converting them, right? We go back to last night. We go back to this Denver-Miami series. Miami had a high shot volume of 3-pointers. But a high shot volume at 3 doesn't matter if you're hitting at a 25% clip, right? I will let you lift 100 threes if you're only going to make 25 of them. No problem. I can still win that game. If Florida's going to send 62, 63 shots at the goal and Aiden Hill's only got to work half of them, you're in a good spot, man. You're in a good spot. I would look for Florida tonight to go full out hustle. I mean, this team is going to be aggressive. They're going to attack. The problem is their attack is not wildly coordinated. They don't have an efficient attack. They have an aggressive attack, but it's not efficient. They find themselves out of position. They find themselves sending the puck on net with one, sometimes two guys in the zone to make a push and help. They find themselves very frequently countering into numbers where they're sending the puck forward with two guys and Vegas has put three back, right? So they're getting the puck, they're pushing it into zone, and then they're finding out, oh, now we have to pull it back and wait for the rest of our guys to get forward. And that's never going to work, man. That's never going to work. All those reasons are the why the Vegas Golden Knights are going to put this thing away tonight. The Vegas Golden Knights are going to end up winning this series this evening and hoisting that trophy. And the city of Miami goes 0 for 2 in championships on 2 consecutive nights. Ouch. All right, let me get one more story in here real quick before we take a break. Take it back a couple of days. For this one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going all the way back to Saturday. I wanted to get to this yesterday, but we had so much going on that I just ran out of time. Bill Miller was the home plate umpire for a game between the Phillies and the Dodgers. The Phillies got shut out in this game by the LA Dodgers. Dodgers a good team. 2 outs, top of the 6th inning. Phillies down 3-0 at this point. And Aaron Nola was on the bump. Nola's an ace. Nola's a guy Philly wants to be able to lean on, to rely on this year. Aaron Nola was given a baseball to throw the next pitch, and he asked for a new baseball. That is not uncommon. That is not infrequent. The umpire denied his request. Why? Well, Bill Miller explained it after the game that he believed Aaron Nola was utilizing request for a new baseball as a way to circumvent the pitch clock. Because Aaron Nola was going deep into the clock on some of these counts, and he was repeatedly asking for new baseballs, even with baseballs that had not been used yet, right? Every time a ball hits anything, a bat, the ground, anything, the pitcher gets a new ball. And the reason why, I've been asked this before, and it's the way it's been explained to me by a former professional umpire, is that the integrity of the ball is compromised anytime that it is hit by anything or that it hits anything, right? The laces on the ball can be compressed. The leather on the ball can change its texture. The yarn inside of the ball, once it's bounced around a little bit, can lose some of its spring, and the pitcher can't get the same grip. So it's not uncommon. I think they go through something like 157 baseballs on average per Major League Baseball game. But players are always going to look for an edge. Players are always going to look for an edge. It's sports. It's part of the game. And Bill Miller believed that Aaron Nola was basically requesting more baseballs more frequently to circumvent the pitch clock, to give him and his catcher more time to get on the same page and get together. Miller said, quote, "We have regulations with the pitch clock. Obviously, it's very sensitive when the pitch clock goes off and whether or not people are going to circumvent the rules that are in place. Nola did a good job the first 2 to 3 innings, and then as the game went on, he started to throw more and more balls out to where we felt he was trying to reset the clock, which is an attempt to circumvent the pitch clock regulations. It's up to the umpire's judgment if any player at any time is attempting to circumvent the pitch clock regulations." It's not the only time it's happened. The Giants' Alex Cobb did the same thing and caught the same warning. But the big discussion was that Rob Thompson, the manager of the Phillies, came out to argue the violation, and he got tossed for it. Now, why is this a problem? I'm pro pitch clock. It has won me over, okay? I'm on board with the pitch clock now. It has won me over. So why is this a problem? It is a problem because this is one of those gray areas where it is left to be subjective. The umpire gets to decide Is this pitcher tossing balls out of play to waste time, or does he have a point? Is this guy tossing these balls out of play because he wants to reset the clock so he can have a little bit more time to get to a strategy? Or is there genuinely a problem with this batch of baseballs? The umpire gets to decide that, and this is what I've always said. You bump into a problem when a call becomes subjective. Why? Because then there's a million reasons that an umpire could decide, and one of them or more of them could very much be unfair to one of the two teams in question. If that umpire decides that Rob Thompson called his wife fat, he doesn't like that. If that manager decided that he wants to see if Freddie Freeman can get to a 27-game hit streak, so we're going to do everything we can to give the Dodgers more at-bats.
So when they decided to go with the pitch clock, is this something that they foresaw would happen? And they schooled the umpires and had them ready for this? Or is this something that's happened organically and, one guy tried to do it and then you see other guys try to do it, and so the umpires talk to each other and now they know to look for it?
Well, the replacement ball rule was in place, so I assume they thought of it, right? Like they had to have thought about it. The rule's in place. What I don't know that they would have seen is this situation playing out, where a pitcher does it like multiple times per game. The manager comes out, gets into the face of the umpire and gives him the old what for. I don't know is the answer, right? Here's what I do know. What I do know is that it is a subjective call. It is a call where the umpire gets to lean on whatever he wants to lean on to decide if the claim that the time is being wasted is legit or not. And anytime you have that, there is room for a problem, right?
So Steven says, guess who can't judge that? Robo-umps. So how would you handle that with robo-umps?
You guys have apparently I either haven't laid my claim out or you and Steven have missed it. I have never argued to take umpires off the field. There are things that umpires still need to be out there.
So this is just about pitching.
This is
the
about,
robo-umps is just about
correct.
pitching. Okay.
Is the ball?
I don't
ball?
recall you being that specific with it. So
I absolutely.
I thought it was a pretty broad thing.
No. I have never said take the umps off the field. In fact, I've even go so far as to say the umps can still make the call so they can do all their funny strike dances if they want to, right?
Did you do that when you were?
Oh
no,
yeah. This is my third strike call.
Is it? Okay.
No, it was not at all.
Did you take your voice up an octave when you called it strike?
No, it was strike. It's a good one. You got to let everybody in the stadium know.
Dude, I have power to it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Probably scared that poor kid half
This
to
is
death.
my field, Timmy. My field. Don't you forget it. No, I've never said take the umps off the field. You can even give them a little buzzer that buzzes. One buzz is a strike. Two buzzes is a ball. Hold it in your hand. They'll let you know, right? You can keep umpires on the field. Why? Because you've still got to interact with the players. You've still got to hustle them on, hustle them off. You've got to let them know when there's a break in the action. Somebody's got to call timeout when there's a timeout. You've still got to have all that human acting out there. I'm just saying we should be able to know if it's a ball or a strike with laser precision, and we should be able to use all the cameras to know if a guy's out or safe. That's literally it.
It's so weird. Mentioned robo-umps, and my computer jumped and said it was required a restart now. That's why you saw me panic for a second, because it's like, because usually it gives you the postpone buttons. They just moved it around, and I found that it's like, yeah,
it's
they're
the
listening.
aliens, dude.
No, it's
the
AI.
aliens.
It's
Lonzo,
AI controlled by aliens.
it's the aliens, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you, it's the aliens. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take our final break of the day. When we come back here in just a minute, Twitter trending topics, and we call it an afternoon. I am Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo with the board. You're listening to the Rob Brown Show. You are listening to the Fan Upstate.
Attaboy, Ray.
Attaboy, Ray. Do.
starts Friday in Omaha. TCU against Oral Roberts. Florida takes on Virginia. Saturday, top seed Wake Forest battles Stanford. Tennessee beats RSU. In 10 innings Monday, the Tigers beat the Braves 6-5 in Detroit. Spencer Turkle's the hero.
Alone.
Lifting Detroit over the Braves to stop Detroit's 9-game losing skid. Andy Ibanez began the comeback from a 4-0 deficit with a 7th-inning homer.
Apparently, something has gone awry.
The series continues today. 6-2 ready.
The aliens just emailed him and said, "Hey, you misrepresented us. You got to come down here so we can tell you exactly what to say next."
I'm Bridget Common with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Saquon Barkley says he wants to be a Giant for life, but he isn't ruling out the idea of sitting out the 2023 season rather than playing under the $10.1 million franchise tag. Barkley and the Giants have until July 17th to work out a long-term deal. Barkley says he's not trying to reset the running back market, but that the situation is, quote, all about respect. Like Barkley, Vikings defensive end Daniil Hunter will not be at his team's minicamp this week, according to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero. The Vikings began fielding trade calls for Hunter after contract costs stalled. And the Patriots have cut running back James Robinson. Robinson signed with New England in March following a 2022 season split between the Jags and Jets. And in Houston, the Texans announced that J.J. Watt will be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor Week 4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Lowe's knows the best deals for dad. That's why this Father's Day, you can shop our best gifts from the brands he loves, like Craftsman for less. Right now, get a V20 drill or impact driver kit for just $69. And save $50 on the V20 string trimmer and blower combo kit, now only $99. Shop Father's Day deals today, in-store and online. Lowe's knows dads. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/14 while supplies last. Selection during that location.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Western Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely.
800-462-3333. 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
When you open your hopper, you don't fill it with just any hardwood pellets, right? You fill it with Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets. Made right here in the USA with North American ingredients and a 100% natural hardwood blend, Kingsford pellets can be used on any pellet grill and add delicious smoky flavor to any meal. Kingsford's the name you trust for the low and slow cooking you crave. So look for Kingsford 100% hardwood blend pellets. Kingsford.com.
Wendy's Strawberry Frosty is back for the summer. Because if it's summertime, it's Frosty time. Beach time, Frosty time. Tea time, Frosty time. Me time, Frosty time. Treat yourself to Wendy's Strawberry Frosty this summer and make time for Frosty time. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Now open till midnight or later. Limited time only. Participating in this Wendy's.
We talked about a thing like 2 weeks ago that's trending on TikTok that some girl in Australia decided to do. She takes 2 McDonald's hash browns and puts McFlurry in between them and eats them.
It's a McFlurry.
Puts McFlurry between the 2 hash browns. And would you eat that?
I mean, if I lost the bet.
It doesn't sound unpleasant. This sounds like
I've
salty
heard
ice
worse.
cream.
Yeah, I've heard worse, but it doesn't sound good.
We would have tried it on Saturday, but you know, how hard would it be to get a couple hash browns and get a McFlurry because of day parts when they're available? You'd have to reheat
first off,
it.
you got to find a McDonald's that the ice cream machine works with any
That's true.
consistency.
Or you could substitute with something from somewhere else, like a Frosty.
On Bet for the Cycle, Mario lost and had to eat the hot sauce. Then he decided he wanted to run the hot sauce punishment back, and we said, fine, but if you lose again, you have to do it twice in the one show, right? Double up. So we just proposed another bet. I'll tell you guys what it is after the show.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending and he will tell us all why. The first thing that's trending is Lord of the Flies.
I had to read Lord of the Flies when we were in like 6th grade, and I have not gone back to it since.
Yeah, I never read it. I've heard the synopsis, so I have an idea what it's about.
It's I would say it's worth a read if you are someone who can pull messages from literature, like I know what the tone and the message of this book is, then like sure, it's worth the read. But if you just read it as this is just a story that happened,
So you don't know why it's trending.
No idea.
It's trending because there's some dude in Florida walking around with a pig's head on a pole.
Yeah, I saw that. He's protesting the Trump indictment this afternoon.
Is that what? Yeah, because that really adds credence to. Yeah, okay, dude. All right. No, so that's.
I'm very serious about this protest.
So that
and also barbecue at my house at 4.
So that's what you're talking about, pulling the literary reference and make so it's
yes.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so the next thing that's trending is Ezra Miller.
Again, is The Flash out this weekend? This is this weird spot because, like, on one hand, I don't want to support anything Ezra Miller's in. He's a bad person. All right, just is. On the other hand, Michael Keaton. It's a Batman movie.
It's not. But,
it's a Batman movie.
Well, I'll be able to tell you Friday because I plan on going to see it Thursday. He is trending because he showed up at the red carpet.
Yeah, who was it? Like the EP or somebody in the movie a while back was like, this movie's so good, you're gonna forgive Ezra Miller, for the stalking and kidnapping and
they have to they have to
threats.
put this movie out to reboot DC.
Do you dump them after it though? If the movie kills,
well,
do
they also said that they can't see anybody else playing this part but him. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. The next thing is trending is Jeff Hardy.
So there's a video going around. I've seen this is why of Jeff Hardy. Listen, if you see a celebrity, it is fine to ask for an autograph or a picture, but at the same time, respect them. If they say no, take that as it doesn't mean they're a bad person.
No means no.
Right. What you don't have the right to do is what these 2 people in the airport did, where they asked Jeff Hardy for an autograph and he very graciously said yes. And then they had him sign one and then they moved it and had him sign another and another and another. People are going up to Jeff Hardy with like 40 pictures asking him for autographs on all of them. You're a bad person. All right. If you want an autograph for you, that's great. If you're going around collecting a bunch of autographs so you can sell them at a trade convention, you're a bad person.
You're also taking advantage of someone who's probably not in their best. Well,
he was in an airport. So.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not. That doesn't mean he's sober. I hate to say that, but that's the. I mean,
reputations are earned.
So you're taking advantage of someone who's been in a lot of trouble and who will have a hard time saying no because he's worried about it getting more trouble.
You're not wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. That's it for the show. Hope you had a great 3 hours. We did. We'll be back tomorrow, however, to do it all over again, but better. He's the great one. My name is Rob Brown. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother.
I need to be more active. Sometimes I look at myself and I look like I'm dead. It's like, okay, because I'm just not moving. I'm just being really still. It's because I'm cold. And I'm just being really still because I'm cold.
All right. So we told Mario we could run back the hot sauce punishment, but if he loses again, he's got to do 2 shots of the hot sauce on the show. Then he has come back with the next punishment, which is that you have to eat the full Grimace meal from McDonald's on the show, which is, it's a Big Mac meal, right? It's a Big Mac.
Yeah, it has nuggets.
Fries.
Has nuggets too.
It's Big Mac and nuggets?
Yeah.
It's still a Big Mac, 10 nuggets, fries in a shake is not that bad, right? So I told him if you wanted it to be a punishment, it should be you have to eat a Grimace meal once every hour of the show.
Yeah, that would be more punishment.
You should have to eat one all 4 hours.
It also would be probably expensive, but
yeah, I mean that's like $40 fast food. Don't lose bets.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Don't lose bets. The answer to when is barbecue day, Steven, is TBD. before I bring Zoe there, I am going to go there myself to try it out. Because if it doesn't meet my standards, then I'm going to pick the next one off the list. But I would say barbecue day for me, I will probably get over there this week, either tomorrow or Thursday. And then if it is up to snuff, either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, depending on the Great One's schedule, we'll do our barbecue run. I am out Thursday and Friday next week. I'm going to Connecticut for a wedding. So we'll try to do it before I leave for the wedding. But I'll let you know. Everybody thank Ray for a lovely show today.
Thanks, Ray.
Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.